Alright guys, Revolve Wrestler here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Wrestle Kingdom 10. Now I know what I said in my last video, I wouldn't be reviewing Wrestle Kingdom 10 because it was long or something like that. Stupid reasoning, right? Well, I watched the pay-per-view again last night and decided, you know what? This pay-per-view needs to be commended. And it needs to be reviewed because of how much quality was on this show. And I know I've already talked about the two main events, but here I'm not going to talk about them in detail like I did in the other ones. I'm just going to look at some of the big spots, etc. and give my ratings and stuff like that. So, Wrestle Kingdom 10, one thing I do need to address first, I guess, is before I get into wrestling, the death of Alan Rickman, who is one of those actors who has been a pioneer of Britain to me for quite a long time. He's been one of the best British actors that I can think of in terms of quality acting. And, you know, his role in Die Hard is one of the best villains you will ever see in a movie. And to kids, I mean, kids are going to know who he is because he was Snape in the Harry Potter series. So I guess it's just thank you, Alan Rickman. You've had a tremendous impact on cinema as a whole, and I hope that in the future we can have other great actors just like you. I actually watched Die Hard and Harry Potter. I watched Half-Blood Prince the other day. Just a tribute to Alan Rickman, so thank you, Alan Rickman. So getting into Wrestle Kingdom 10, the first thing that I do want to shout out to is the commentary. It's competent. It's better than WWE's really, you know, awful commentary. You know, JBL keeps saying Michael as Maggle, and you've got Michael Cole saying Vintage Horton or something like that. Just really bad commentary. The commentary on the show is, I think, pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. Matt Striker to me has improved quite a lot coming to NJPW. Yoshitatsu on commentary is quite interesting because it's, you know, a Japanese guy who can speak little English, but he gives him what he can, and when he's asked by Matt Striker, he'll say something. And the other guy, I believe, is a Ring of Honor announcer. I can't remember his name. It was Kevin something. So sorry to him, but he was pretty good. I enjoyed the commentary on this show. And one thing I did notice on the show was, and this is really jarring, as someone who likes independent wrestling, is not a big fan of it. You won't often see companies in wrestling talk about other wrestling companies, but in this show you had a few instances where NJPW actually mentioned WWE or WWE wrestlers. So you had Yoshitatsu, who referenced the fact that when he was in WWE, he used to drive with Trent Barretta. And that was a really cool thing when Yoshitatsu said, when I was in WWE, Trent Barretta was my travel partner. And that was a really cool and jarring thing. You also had, I believe, Nick Jackson of the Young Bucks call out Kevin Owens and Neville, which was really cool. And finally, when Carl Anderson came out and he said that, you know, this was his 8th Wrestle Kingdom in a row, he was like, you know, that's effing Undertaker style, which is just so cool of Carl Anderson. It just adds to his character a lot. And it is weird to see wrestling companies talk about other wrestling companies, even though sometimes they do take little, like, digs at each other, which I kind of find ridiculous because, you know, there's only one top dog in the wrestling world, and that is WWE. You can say that the wrestling in other companies is better. You can say that the booking in other companies is better. You can say the talent in other companies is better. In the end of the day, who's bringing in the most money? It's WWE. So, whatever. But what I do want to say about Wrestle Kingdom 10, before I talk about any of the quality again, best wrestling pay-per-view of the last 2 years. It was better than any WWE pay-per-view last year. I believe it was probably better than Wrestle Kingdom 9. So a lot of respect to this show because it was absolutely brilliant. Better than NXT Brooklyn, better than WrestleMania 31. It was a brilliant show. And we kicked off the show with the IWGP Junior Tag Team titles Fatal 4-Way Tag Team matchup that had the Young Bucks, Nick Jackson and Matt Jackson, with Cody Hall, who was a factor in the match as much as any of the other guys, taking on Roppongi Vice, the team of Rocky Romero and Trent Barretta, who of course WWE fans will know as he teamed with Kalen Croft for kind of a short time, a team that I kind of like. Trent Barretta is quite an athletic guy, so I kind of like him. He was in GFW for a short period as well. Taking on the team of Ricochet and Matt Sydal, Evan Bourne, who we all know, one of the biggest prospects WWE have had over the past 10 years. I think he really could have been a main event star. WWE eventually, I believe, released him because he failed a wellness policy check. You know, it's kind of sad to see they failed, but WWE don't fire everyone who fail wellness policies, do they? Randy Orton, I'm looking at you directly because he's failed, what, 3 or 4? Never been fired because he's a big star. Unfortunately, Evan Bourne wasn't a big star, so was fired. So yeah, Ricochet and Matt Sydal, and the final team are the champs, Red Dragon, which is the team of Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. Great opener. This is what WWE need to be doing in these fatal 4-way tag team matches. They aren't keeping them fresh, they really aren't. And I know at WrestleMania they're going to do the same thing, and it's going to be the same thing. They're going to have the Usos, Los Matadors, the tag champs, which will probably be the New Day, and probably the Lucha Dragons if they're back, and it'll be the same thing. The TLC match they did recently was really, really good because it was different, because it was TLC. But unfortunately, their Fatal 4 tag matches are so one note at the moment. This match here is what they should be aspiring to do. Entertainment, high spots, entertainment, you know. Every team in this matchup at one point looked like they could win. Each member of each team really got their own spots. Even Cody Hall, who gave Ricochet a razor's edge on the outside of the ring to about 5 guys. Great spot. Rocky Romero got his own spot. You know, the 18-year veteran who was the most... I believe he was he had the longest career of anyone in this matchup. Got his own spot where he's taking down 6 guys. And that was a great spot for Rocky Romero. I was really happy to see that. Cool things I noticed. The spot where Matt Sydal and Ricochet did a double standing moonsault onto, I believe, one of the Bucks. The Bucks, to me, were the most animated in this matchup, and I really, really enjoyed their performances. In the end, they hit they dominated the ring at the beginning with Cody Hall, who played quite a big role in this matchup. It was as much a good showing for Cody Hall as it was for any of the other guys. He did some cool spots, taking a barricade and stuff. The Bucks were by far, as I just said, the best team. And in the end, the Bucks win after, I believe Ricochet hit a shooting star press on Rocky Romero. One of the Bucks tags him. They then pin Rocky Romero. 1-2. Romero kicks out. They then hit, I believe they hit More Bang for Your Buck for the win on Rocky Romero. The Young Bucks are the new IWGP Tag Team Champions. I gave the match 3 3/4 stars. This was a fantastic way to open the show. Near 4-star matchup. Very well done. The guys deserve a lot of respect because they had a lot to compete with on the night and they did a solid job. We should look at other spots that stuck out. Yeah, I got them all in. But a really great matchup. 3 3/4 stars. Next up, we move on to the first ever never open weight 6-man tag title 6-man tag match, obviously. And this was the Briscoes, so Jay and Mark Briscoe with Toru Yano, or was it Yano Toro, I can't remember. Toru Yano, who in this matchup was the most animated, taking on the Bullet Club's Tama Tonga, Yoshihiro Takashi, who came out with a Japanese valet, which was, I guess, plays off his Playboy gimmick, which is cool, and Tama Tonga. So wait, Tama Tonga, Yoshihiro Takashi, and Bad Luck Fale. Basically, the Bullet Club B team. The B squad of the Bullet Club, the guys who aren't as important in the Bullet Club, at least they got on the show. They needed to have the Bullet Club on the show in that way. This matchup was fine. I found it, I was enjoying some of the good spots. I think Toru Yano was quite entertaining with some of his cool, like, trying to escape from Fale and Tonga. But in the end, it's a decent matchup. It's not the most entertaining. I think the Briscoes, when they got in, did some great spots in their debut in NJPW. Of course, the exchange from Ring of Honor allows them to be in NJPW. In the end, the matchup ended before it got too boring, and it ended with the Briscoes hitting a Doomsday Device on Tama Tonga after Tama Tonga refused to tag in Bad Luck Fale because he wanted to win the belts. Doomsday Device on Tama Tonga, 1, 2, 3. The Briscoes and Toru Yano are the new never open weight 6-man tag champions. Yeah, that's it. In a match that was decent, I gave it 2 3/4 stars. I think it was decent for what it was. I think the Briscoes kept it entertaining against the Bullet Club B team. So again, not a bad match, a decent match. Now we have another Ring of Honor guy. The Ring of Honor World Title match as Michael Elgin takes on Jay Lethal, one of the very best wrestlers in the world. This matchup to me had a great story with Michael Elgin trying to recapture the Ring of Honor World Title that he lost in 2014 to, I believe, Jay Briscoe. That story there was really, really good. There was some good action. Michael Elgin dominated very, very early on. He hit a very impressive one-handed military press slam, which was really, really cool. He also hit a really awesome suplex where Jay Lethal kept kneeing him in the head, but Elgin kept picking him up and finally hit the vertical suplex. That was really impressive. Lethal then came into it and started fighting back. It is weird to see Lethal as the smaller guy as a heel against Elgin, who's a much bigger guy, but they played off that story quite well. Lethal hit a Trouble in Paradise, so Kofi's Trouble in Paradise, which was kind of cool. And in the end, and also very, very cool, a deadlift Falcon Arrow from Michael Elgin got a close fall. But in the end, after Jay Lethal hit Michael Elgin, who the referee was distracted by Truth Martini at ringside, Michael Elgin was hit with the Book of Truth and then hit with the Lethal Injection, which is an amazing looking finisher. As stupid and as you can tell it's scripted, it's an incredible looking finisher, the Lethal Injection. Lethal Injection, 1, 2, 3. Jay Lethal retains the Ring of Honor World title in a good match. I gave it 3 stars. I think coming off the last match, they needed a little bit more story to it, and they got it right here. Good job to those guys again. Now we move on to a fantastic matchup, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title match. Kushida versus Kenny Omega. Kushida coming out as Marty McFly with Taguchi in the ring as Doc Brown. Kenny Omega coming out as the Terminator. So 2 of the best movies from the 1980s, Back to the Future and the Terminator. Really, really cool entrances. Kenny Omega's gimmick is so cool as the cleaner. I really, really like it. And this was a great match. This really, really was. I think Omega played off his injured arm, which Kushida worked on, hopefully looking into get the Kimura in towards the end, which he never had to. Some cool spots which I noted. The electric chair German suplex is so amazing. Like, oh, it's so amazing. It's such a cool move. I had it as my finisher for my character on WWE actually at one point. So that was awesome. And Kenny Omega actually hit a one-winged angel, which I actually only read today. Something I found really, really cool. Kenny Omega is a huge video game fan, and one of his favourite video games is Final Fantasy VII. That is why his finisher is called the One-Winged Angel. He named it after Sephiroth, the main antagonist from Final Fantasy VII. Something I found out today which I found really, really cool. So he hit a One-Winged Angel on Kushida. Kushida kicked out at 2. Really, really cool spot, and therefore there. And in the end, Omega's selling of the arm to me was also something that was very, very cool. Sorry if I keep looking at my notes, it's because it's small. Omega's selling of the arm to me was very, very awesome. I think that one of the best arm damage that I think Kushida did was he spiked Omega's arm off the top rope, so he sent it into the mat like that. Omega sold that perfectly, and when he hit the One-Winged Angel, you could tell he was feeling the effects on his arm. In the end, after going for a second One-Winged Angel, Kushida countered it into a roll-up. 1, 2, 3. Kushida is the new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. That's great. That's really, really good. That makes me happy. That means that Kenny Omega would move on to the Intercontinental title and, of course, become the leader of the Bullet Club after AJ Styles was ejected. We're all happy that happened, to be honest, because that means he's probably coming to WWE. But a great matchup. I gave it 4 stars. Some great back and forth there. Of course, the Young Bucks got involved at one point, but in the end, Taguchi stopped them from getting involved in the finish, so Kushida could pick up the victory. 4 stars, great match. Which means that at this point, the Bullet Club, who don't have a great night, they won the first match, they lost the second match, and they lost the 4th match. So at the moment, the Bullet Club are 1-2. And their night doesn't get better. In the end of the night, the Bullet Club only actually leave with 2 titles, which we'll get to in a minute. Next up, we move on to the IWGP Tag Team Titles match, the Heavyweight Tag Team Titles match. The Bullet Club's Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows, who are of course accompanied by Amber Gallows, who is the new NWA Women's Champion. I didn't know that. That's cool. So the Bullet Club do have a belt to make up for the ones they lost. So that's nice. Against the team of, I need to get this, Togi Makabe and Tomoaki Honma, sorry. And this matchup was very good. If you want a showcase of the Bullet Club and why they're going to be so fantastic in WWE, this tag match, okay? Carl Anderson, you don't really need much to show for him. He's a fantastic wrestler. He's got a great character, as I said, with him announcing the Undertaker sort of joke at the beginning of it and swearing, of course. It's weird to hear a lot of wrestling swear, but in NJPW it's absolutely fine. It makes total sense. But in terms of a showcase, for Doc Gallows, this was a fantastic showcase. He hit a Gallows pole, he took some big spots, and in the end I believe he took the finish. Great showcase for Doc Gallows. I'm really psyched for him and Carl Anderson to come into WWE and give the tag division a lot more quality, to be honest. In the end, a matchup that was great, to be honest. It was great. Well, it was very good. A running gun stump from Carl Anderson got a near fall. The Gallows pole, which I've already mentioned, got a near fall. And in the end, I believe it took... I can't remember what it took. Oh yeah, sorry. It took a headbutt from the top rope from Makabe, and then a King Kong knee drop from Honma to get the victory. I believe that pinned Doc Gallows. Makabe and Honma are the new IWGP Tag Team Champions. The crowd ate it up. I thought it was really, really cool, and it's a good way to send Gallows and Anderson off to WWE. So 3.5 stars. Very good match. I believe that's everything there. Moving on to the matchup that I had a lot of hype for. Fortunately, I don't think it met the hype as much as it should have. Hiroki Goto versus Tetsuya Naito. And this matchup was good. I think that Naito and Goto... I don't know if the table spot at the beginning kind of helped much. The table didn't break properly. So Naito goes for a neck breaker to Goto through an announce table. It didn't really work. The table didn't really break, so it didn't really look right. And they never really talked about it throughout the match. They kind of forgot that it happened, which I don't think helped. But overall, it was still a good matchup. I think that the finish, I think they got the victor wrong. I definitely think Naito should have won this matchup and possibly moved up to the Intercontinental or even the Heavyweight title at some stage. I'm just thinking about other things. Oh yeah, the finish, sorry, I forgot what the finish was. In the end, the finish came when Hiroki Goto hit Naito with, and it was kind of just, the ending just sort of happened, and that's kind of why I gave it a slightly low grade. But it's not a low grade, it's still a good match. I mean, just watch the whole show and just watch everything, because it's still a good match. In the end, Goto hit a Show 10, kind of out of nowhere. A Show 10 essentially is a Hellevator. If you've seen Matt Morgan, the Hellevator, that's what a Show 10 is. Show 10, sorry, I keep saying it wrong. For the 1, 2, 3, Goto moves on, and will probably be going for the IC or Heavyweight titles at some point. Good match. I gave it 3 stars. A good match. I can say that. Now we move on to the main event. And, this main event here. Okay, so I say in wrestling, I talk about a lot of wrestling matches and say they're fights. Like Reigns and Big Show at Last Man Standing at Extreme Rules, I said that was a fight. This here, never open weight title. Katsuyori Shibata taking on Tomohiro Ishii was a fight. There was less than 10 wrestling holds in this match. Less than 10. Then this matchup was pure brutality. There was the stiffest elbows, the stiffest forearms, the stiffest kicks that you will see in wrestling. And oh my god, some of those penalty kicks to the back, where what happened was essentially Goto, Shibata would hit Ishii with a penalty kick, and then Shibata would sit down and say to Ishii, now you're going to hit me with one, and Ishii would hit Shibata with a penalty kick, and then Ishii would sit down again, and oh my god, that added to the brutality of this matchup, how stiff these penalty kicks were. If there's a match I'm going to brand, if there's a word I'm going to brand this match with, it's stiff. Stiff. And honestly, it was a great matchup. Looking at a few of the things, the penalty kicks, as I've already mentioned, were really, really good. The octopus stretch from Katsuyori Shibata was really, really cool. I haven't seen that since AJ Lee. so that's a nice thing to see. And the headbutt off. Oh my god, my head started hurting when they started headbutting each other. There is no give with those headbutts. Oh, it looked so painful. But in the end, the guy I wanted to win, the wrestler, ironically, the wrestler won the fight. Katsuyori Shibata, won with a PK to the chest of Ishii. Fantastic matchup, absolutely loved it. 4.5 stars. Great way to set up the two real main events. Now, I know I've already talked about these two main events in my previous video, but I'll just go over a few of the keynotes. So, IWGP Intercontinental title. So, by the way, Shibata did win the Never Open Weight title. Great match. So now we move on to the IWGP Intercontinental title. AJ Styles and Nakamura. I said all I needed to say in my other video. Absolute classic from Styles and Nakamura. We knew it would be. The spots. Let me just go over some of the great spots. So you had the the top rope bombier knee from Nakamura, got a close near fall on Styles. Then Styles hits a bombier knee on Nakamura. When Nakamura goes for one, Styles gets up, bang, cracks him with a bombier knee to the skull. Then hits a 450 splash for a really close near fall. Styles then the Styles Clash counter from he counters a triangle hold into a Styles Clash, which I thought was it. 1, 2, kick out by Nakamura. Nobody kicks out of the Styles Clash, so that was awesome. And then in the end, the Michinoku driver from the top rope got another near fall. Then Nakamura with 2 consecutive bombier knees, 1 to the back of the head, 1 to the front. 1, 2, 3. Nakamura picks up the victory over AJ Styles in an insane match. Absolutely insane. 4 3/4 stars. The fist bump after it, the respect between the two was absolutely needed. Great match. 4 3/4 stars. Was this better than the main event? Well, it's a tough call. And now moving on to the main event, the IWGP Heavyweight title. Kazuchika Okada takes on Hiroshi Tanahashi. Again, I'm just going to talk over the main spots. So, the apron swing blade from Tanahashi looked sick as hell. The high fly flow, which Tanahashi did on the legs of Okada, was very, very smart. Good leg work there from Tanahashi. The Rainmaker clothesline, I believe he hit an awesome Rainmaker clothesline. I don't know why I put it in capitals, can't remember. But, oh yeah. The Rainmaker clothesline kick out, which was awesome. Okada then hit a high fly flow on Tanahashi. Tanahashi kicked out. Tanahashi then hit a Rainmaker on Okada. That was awesome. I thought he'd beat him there. And then finally, the mid-air dropkick from Okada, which led to a few strikes and some kicks. A German suplex into a Rainmaker clothesline, which Tanahashi then countered. Slaps Okada in the face. Okada has the wrist still, picks him up. Rainmaker picks him up again. Rainmaker. Tanahashi is down. One more time. Rainmaker. 1, 2, 3. Kazuchika Okada wins, retains the IWGP Heavyweight title in an absolute barn burner again. 4 3/4 stars. Amazing matchup to end the show. So in reviewing the event, I can't give it any lower than a 10 out of 10. I don't think I've given a pay-per-view 10 out of 10 on my channel before, and that's because no pay-per-view on my channel has been this good. Wrestle Kingdom 10 was a masterpiece, and that is why, you know, nearly 10 days later, well more than 10 days later, I am talking to you about it, uploading a review. So, thanks for watching, guys. I just want to say, watch Wrestle Kingdom 10 because it was pretty awesome. I do have a pickups video to do soon, which there's a few things I've got to show you. I'm going to be playing some WWE, continuing wrestling as my NJPW stars. So thanks for watching, guys. This has been Revolver Ocelot. I want you to like, comment and subscribe for more.